Hi, it's Wednesday and it is Thanksgiving Eve here in the United States. My name is Susan Moore. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at IIBA.
And my name is Scott Bennett. I'm the Manager of Business Analysis here at the International Institute of Business Analysis. Today, we've got an interesting topic that I think everyone's going to enjoy. We're going to be talking about launching your business analysis career. Now,
Hmm.
Susan, can you think back to when you started your career?
Uh, 25 years ago. I can't even believe it how quickly it's gone by. It looked very different getting into business analysis 25 years ago.
It did. I started 25 years ago as well, late 90s. That was even before IIBA existed as an organization. So, business analysis as a career was still growing and maturing at that point.
Yeah, that's right. And IIBA is 20 years old this year. So there must have been a lot of people that were working in this space at the same time we were, who were thinking, wow, we need an organization that can help us to standardize this work that we do. So
Yeah.
big celebration for IIBA's 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a guest that's joining us today that's going to help us through this, who has recently gone through launching their career. So I'd like you to welcome Sachin. Sachin, welcome to the show.
Hello everyone. So thanks for having me here. I'm a junior business analyst in a real estate company, one of the major in Canada. And yeah, I have recently started my career in this field, and it's a good opportunity for me to be in this career. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, Sachin, for joining us. We've got a number of different questions. So we're going to take this topic from a few different angles. Someone who's maybe new out of school, getting into business analysis, maybe transitioning a career into business analysis, or even those of us that have been doing business analysis for a while. How do we help people enter the career? So, Sachin, let's talk a little bit about your story. Before you started working in your career in business analysis, what were you doing?
Oh yeah. So actually, it's a story for me. I was doing my bachelor's in technology back in my home country, India. And when I started in there, I used to do like coding and stuff. And also, I was part of some societies, some festivals, having management with the other communities that I don't in there with them. So I started being with them, and how it ended up, I started myself getting more into this management thing where I can interact with multiple communities. So even after my graduation, I started my career as a senior system engineer in one of the Fortune 500 companies.
Okay.
And even I was doing good in there, I was missing something. So
Hmm.
I felt like this is something that is related to what I was doing back in my bachelor's. So I felt this is not the career I want to be here for my future. And then I thought that maybe I can switch within a career where I can use my technical expertise as well as management skills. So I thought let's go into business analysis career, which is the one of the best I see fits my needs. And I applied for the post graduation in Conestoga College, that is in business analysis career only. And I was doing really good there. I got mentioned in the dean's on a list, got distinction
Congratulations.
there. Yeah, thanks. So it was a great experience learning more about the business analysis, and uh, there were more things that I think that should be needed to enter in business analysis career. So I got certified by IIBA, ECBA, NT Certificate for Business Analysis, and I did many other certifications, just like Microsoft Certified Power BI Data Analyst or Certified Scrum Master. I did whatever it takes me to land in this career, and surprisingly, I passed on this post graduation, and just after passing I did apply for more than 500 applications, but just after my passing the course I got the job. So it's an amazing story that I followed, but my things are what I like to do the most, and I really got that.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now, I want to remind our viewers that we are live today. So if you've got questions for Sachin or Susan or I, please put them in the chat and we will get to those questions shortly.
I heard a lot there, and I want to unpack some of what you said, Sachin, because
Hmm.
there was a plan. Well, you may not have started out with a plan, but as you learned more, you were adapting. And so, some of the things that I heard is the importance of being part of different kinds of communities. Let's talk a little bit about that. Why did you feel like being part of different communities was important for your development?
Yes, so I think it's very important to interact with stakeholders, understand their needs, what they do, and being with community. I feel like I am giving something back to the community. They do a lot for us, and it's always good to give something back to the community. And being interactive with them, it's something you get to learn about more people, how they do like their whole day, and how they differ from other people's, how different communities differ from other people's. And it also helps me build my future, because if I interact with them nicely, so definitely I'm gonna be interact with more of them, and in the end everyone is gonna uh, like remember me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples? What are some of the communities that you were part of?
Oh yeah, so there is one of the community I would like to talk about. It's Prayas, a Step Forward Society. So
Mm,
what this community does is it helps the poorest, you can say children who are not able to study, who don't have much money to afford their study. So we were doing that for them for free, so that we can not only enhance their expertise, like their study, but also it involves in their extracurricular activities. So not just learning about science, it's about learning how to uh, talk to people, how you can be a bigger personality in future.
mm.
So yeah, this is one of the society I was happy to be a part of it, and I'm still a part of them. But it's not just me leading them. We had some volunteers that time who are now the heads of that community. So it's great to be there. Yeah.
Wow. So volunteering actually is one of the things that you've incorporated into this journey. That's
Exactly.
really impressive because I
Hmm.
sometimes, I talk with our volunteers and I think sometimes the feeling is, well, I have to find time to do this. But what I hear
Hmm.
you say is that, well, sure, you had to find time, but you also have been getting a lot back just in skills and a network of people. So I think that's pretty amazing. So communities, being part of different and not necessarily business analysis communities, but just being part of a group of people that are pursuing a mission, because really I think that's what business analysts do, right?
Hmm.
We're part of a group that pursues some sort of mission.
Yeah.
um,
Now, Sachin, you had mentioned your education. So you have a diploma in business analysis. That
That's
wasn't around when Susan and I were starting our careers. Tell us a little bit about what that learning environment was like. What were the type of things you were focused on?
Oh yeah, so majorly I was focused on performing the route reporting, analyzing, identifying all the for the requirements for the projects that I will be opting for. I have done multiple projects. Some I led them, and some I was a big part of it by not leading them. And also, so it was about more of business analysis, whatever will it could be of technical knowledge for the business analysis, SQL or Power BI. And it was also involved in the stakeholder management, or how we do the project scopes, the objectives of our project. So it's not just about I'm landing into the technical skills of business analysis, but it was more about how you can land in a business analysis thing, even if you have not done this in the past.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
that's really wonderful to hear. I think about sort of the skills I've learned over the years. It was all through experience, but it sounds like you've got these projects and you sort of get a feel for what it's like. So
Yes.
that really prepares you for the workforce.
Yes.
yeah, and it probably, in addition to preparing you, it probably gives you a little bit of a portfolio that you can pull from as you are, you know getting interviews or talking with people, potential employers, you have something that you can show them. So I I might be making that up, but was that true? Did you have things that you could take into interviews with you
Oh yes.
from some of those
So
projects?
yeah, so there were definitely some skills, some technical skills that I can take over. I had a year of experience back in for the Fortune 500 company, so I can definitely introduce that as well. And also, I think the major part I have introduced in my interviews is the IIBA certifications. So
Hmm.
that made a major impact on my profile, and explaining that I was the best in my post graduation course, that I got mentioned in the dean's honor list and distinction and everything. I got the skills. I have the interpersonal skills already because I was a part of society that deals with it. So I think I got everything that the application was supposed to be, and that's why I landed in a good career. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
yeah.
And that ECBA certification, I think one of the real benefits for that, if you are new to the profession or you want to transition into the profession from something else, you are really learning the language of business analysis. So that is a great certificate program for that. And this is a little bit of a plug, but right now we're running a 20% off promotion for that. And I'm sure that Connor will drop a link in because if the ECBA or one of the other certifications is something that you're thinking about as you are launching your business analysis career, we've got that promotion that's going on through the end of December.
Yeah,
So there you go.
yeah.
Um, something else that I heard you talk about, Sachin, was that even though you were doing a lot, you were also taking some time to reflect. So it wasn't just about, you said you sent out resumes for 500 jobs and you were a part of communities and you were working on that certification. But I also heard um, that you were taking time to look at, where am I going? Do I still want to be going there? What can I do next? And I think that sometimes when we're launching our career into, whatever area we want to go into, we sometimes don't think about the importance of just stopping to think about what I can be doing. So talk about how you've used reflection and planning
Okay.
to launch your career.
Oh, yeah. So I think for planning a career, the main thing you need is having a mentor. So I have some mentors. I go to them if I have any questions or any concerns regarding my plans or whatever I feel like could this be a good thing for my future. So definitely I reached out to them. And the major thing I would like to highlight here is the first thing, you should be focused on the motivation. So if you have the motivations, you will definitely seek the things you need to get into that path and achieve that plan you have focused on. So I have a plan, but I need the motivation. I had the mentor, but still I need that eagerness to be in that career. So I think that is the one that made me shine among others. And having that as part of me is where I planned myself. So if I plan to do the certification, definitely I was doing my post graduation course, but I was getting some time for myself so that I can study for the ECBA certification as well. It was
Hmm.
not a easy thing, I would say. So transitioning from another career to the business analysis career, I won't say it's easy, but it's not tough as well. If you have the
Mhm.
motivation, you got the skills, you can do what it needed to land in this career, you can definitely do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
uh,
persistence and tenacity, both of those are good skills to have when you're launching your career.
Mhm.
I'll share my transition to as to how I got into business analysis. So I, like yourself, was interested in technology, and I
Mhm.
was learning um, Lotus Notes. It's an old technology. I became a certified Lotus Notes developer, and I loved my job until one day I didn't like it anymore, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So we had a strong HR department, human resources, and I went to them, and they helped me through a personality test, and one of the careers that popped out of that was business analysis. Just part of the way I love to learn. in a business analysis, we're always learning something new. So I transitioned from a software developer to a business analysis professional, and that was the start of this whole 25-year adventure. So that reflection, I think, is important, in that you have to do what you're happy with, and it sounds like you were partly there, but not quite hitting the mark. And so you figured out, what are the things that I like to do, what are the things I don't like to do, and how do I follow that path?
Yes.
Hmm. I think that's Scott, I think your story is a great example of how even if we are currently in a role and maybe we're finding that it's not a good fit, how you can reach out to other resources within your own organization and find out ways that they can help you. So you checked in with a human resources team to see if they might have some tools available to you. Wow. I mean, that is a great tool for them to
Yes.
have made available to you. I was talking with a friend of mine who works for the US government. And one of the opportunities that they make available to government employees is, I think they call it a 6 month detail. Now, he's not in the military, but that's what they call it. So you can accept a 6 month detail in another part of the government to just experiment, explore that role or that department to see if that was something that would be a good fit. And in
Hmm.
fact, for him, one of those details was a really good fit. And so 15 years later, that's the thing that he's been doing, and he really loves it. So, we have often talked about if you're already in an organization and thinking that you want to launch your career into business analysis, reach out. I think I've told stories about how I was working in IT and we were always tapping business people on the shoulder to come help us, and many of them would volunteer to be part of the project for a little bit to see what it was like. Some of them actually moved over into business analysis. So that can be another way of just exploring, and if it's the right thing to do. And it's still right, you still get to keep your job. You get to do it in kind of a risk-free way, but you
Yeah,
can confirm if you like it or not.
yeah, for sure. So, Sachin, tell us a little bit more about the challenge of landing your first job. So, you had your ECBA certification, you had a diploma, you had a little bit of work experience, but
Yes.
it sounded like it still took a lot of resumes to find the right job for you. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, sure. I think I would like to highlight the thing that the job market, so it also depends on the job market. So even if you got the skills, we have many professionals who have experience for many years, but they don't still land in the job that fit right to them. So it also depends on that. And also what I felt like, there were not quite jobs that gives an opportunity for the professional who don't have any experience in business analysis career. So that was kind of limitation for me, but still, uh, that the one thing I said, the motivation, it what makes the difference. So I had the motivation even after the 500 applications, I was still applying for it. And I think I applied well in advance of my completing my post graduation. That
Okay.
was a good thing. So even if I got rejected for more than 500 applications, I still landed in a good job just after my completion of the course. So that's a good thing. So if you plan ahead of the things that could be coming in the future, and you will not be happy for that, so let's do that in advance so that you will land in that thing at the perfect time that you want.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to stick with the plan, modify
Mhm.
the plan, keep it going while getting the job is kind of
Mhm.
taking its time, because it sometimes it does take its time. Having sent out 500 resumes and getting told no, that had to be a little bit of a morale killer. But you hung in there. What's the secret to your resilience?
Oh, so I think I did my best. I don't think entering a business analysis career with the ECBA certification, CSM, Microsoft certified, having a developer experience back, and I think that's the most I can do. And with that, I was like, if I don't get it, who is gonna get it? Yeah. So keep applying. There should be someone looking for me. So that's what the motivation for my and yeah,
And I think you also, just because of the way that, the applicant tracking systems and other ways that companies are looking for employees these days, right? A little bit of it is out of the hands of humans. So, making sure that you are keeping those human connections either through the communities that you're part of or through other networks that you've tapped into, that also can be a great way to find a job as well. When, because you're right, as these things take the time that they're going to take, you can still have different pockets of activity happening.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, Susan, let's talk for a minute about those of us that have been in the career for a while and how we could help people like Sachin get into the career. We've talked a little bit in previous episodes about how people can get involved with chapters so they can meet and network people. But those of us that are experienced, I think it's important for us to really, embrace the community, help people into the roles, and provide some mentoring as we go through. So there's a number of different things that we can do. You talk a lot with our members. What have you heard about how people can help new business analysis professionals?
Um, Actually, I'll tell you one of the myths that I encounter sometimes out in our community, and that is um, about people who have been in the profession for a while, feeling like, well, I don't know everything in order to be a mentor to somebody. To which I say, you know enough. Um, Mentorship is not about uh, teaching people how to do this job. Mentorship is really about connecting, because for everything that you're going to help the mentee with, you're going to learn a whole lot too about yourself, your work, the role that you have. So set aside for a minute that you've got to know how to do everything in business analysis, because you don't. The important part of being a mentor to someone is simply being there, sharing your experience and asking good questions. And I think at the heart of what BAs do, we share our experience and we ask really good questions. So, if somebody asks you for some help with something, offer it. Don't feel afraid of doing that. Also, connecting people to resources that might be helpful for them can be immensely helpful. I think I use helpful twice. That's okay. Um, and also, I think about networking less about going and finding all of these different people, uh, and more of being something that people can connect into. So if you are part of a network of people in an organization or in a chapter, help new people connect into that chapter, bring them to a chapter meeting with you, connect them to that network that you're part of, so that they can, get the benefits of that.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I remember early in my career, my boss at the time recognized I was challenged with communicating with people verbally. And so she said, "Hey, I'm going to a Toastmasters meeting. Would you like to come with me?" And it was my introduction to Toastmasters, which we will talk about in 2024. But it was one of those things that she recognized a need and she brought me to an environment that could help me with that. So I think that's a great suggestion, Susan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, just if you are, again, this isn't necessarily about answering their questions or even finding them that job. It's just really helping people get connected is really, I think, the thing that those of us that have been doing a while can offer.
Yeah,
um, we have got a few questions. Maybe we head over and take a few questions.
yeah,
sounds
All
good.
right, so here is our first question. This is from Mahmood. Tell us about the skill set you are required to have, maybe as a current market value and in future both. I'm not quite sure I understand this question, but maybe we can speak to some part of it. What do you think, Sachin?
yeah. I think I got this one. So I
Okay.
think Mahmood is asking for the skill set is required to land in the BA career,
Yeah.
depending on the current market value or the future. So I would happy to answer this question. So basically, what you need is get certifications for whatever field, not matter if it is the PA career, but whatever you want to opt for. If it is a Java developer skills you want to be in a career with, get the certification of Java, so that you can highlight that you are the certified person in this field. So with the IIBA, I think this is what made a difference for me. And also the skill set that is required, I would say for BA career, it would be some technical basic skills, I would say SQL or Excel. So this is the most required skills as a BA, and there could be more, suppose Power BI or Tableau. So this is as per the technical expertise. But definitely you should have the management skills as well, so that you can manage some of the major projects that you will be handling as a BA. And you can write the project scopes, their requirements, their objectives, and you know the stages of that project, and how you can manage that project as a BA. So I think these are the majorly, I would say, not basic skills, but this is what you require to land in the BA career.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that was an excellent answer. And it's
Mhm.
maybe, Scott, something you and I didn't have to think about way back in the day because the current market, the future market, we were
Mhm.
just figuring it out day to day. But
Mhm.
I think I think that probably the secret to your plan, Sachin, was that you were not only thinking about what was a good fit for you, but you were also looking ahead at where what are the skills that might be needed in the places I want to work? And
Mhm.
then how can I make sure that I am taking advantage of learning opportunities or volunteer opportunities in order to do that? So that was a great answer. So we've got another question here. This is from Arun. Technical skill certifications, are they required for business analysis in the current market, or are just the business analysis skill certifications enough? Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would answer that with the
mhm.
traditional, it depends, right?
Yeah.
It really depends on where you're going.
Yeah.
So when I am hiring people or I've helped other people get hired, it really depends on the organization what they're focused on. Some business analysis roles are more business related, less technical related, but then you have as many, if not more, that are more technical related and not as business related. Sachin, what's been your experience in starting your career?
So I would say this was a challenge for me. So I had the technical skills for sure, but with the management skills. So when I was working back as a developer, I was doing coding. I was not interacting with the stakeholders that much that I do now. So I didn't know how to interact with stakeholders that time. But now when I landed in this BA career, this is something new I tried, and I think I am pretty good now after this. I think more than 1 year now, and having this perspective of me, that was a challenge before. I think this is really good now, and the certifications I got, definitely it does make a difference. If not on the uh, I would say the meeting you are having for the interview, but definitely getting your resume selected, you the like having your certification and highlighting that in your resume, that will definitely make a difference to have your resume selected for the interviews. So you can opt for the certification. This is not necessary for sure, but once you get it, there is always a difference with having a certification or not having a certification. Yep.
Yeah, I'll explain that for people that haven't considered certifications before. I totally agree with what you're saying, Sachin.
Mhm.
What I would add on to that is a certification really is a third party validation
Yeah.
that you know what you're talking about and you know your stuff.
Mhm.
It's easy on a resume to say, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. But if you've got a certification, there's really little doubt that you know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one other thing to consider is that those certifications are keywords. So, because this hiring experience is automated to a certain degree, when you are using those acronyms, those letters, those descriptions, whether it's on LinkedIn or in your resume, right, it becomes a search term that people hiring managers or recruiters can look for. So remember to include it prominently someplace where it can be found because you've done the work. you do have to game the system a little bit, so don't forget to use those if you've achieved those certifications. Um, Alrighty. Next question here. So this is interesting. This is from Manika. Whenever I face a tough decision, I start by using the BACCM, which is the Business Analysis Core competency. No, core.
Yep.
I can't
Core
think of the
competency
C.
model.
Okay,
Yep.
just to get some perspective, and I've been seeing good results. So interesting. This is an interesting idea, right? Use that use that tool that is part of the business analysis standard. Again, another plug. The business analysis standard is a free download. So if you're interested in getting into business analysis, that standard is about a 60-page read. It's free. It's the language of business analysis, and one of the things that it includes is this. So this can be a way that you can think through, that you can take your reflection that you might be doing in your mind and actually using that tool in order to fill in some ideas. Have Sachin, have you ever used the business analysis core competency model?
Not actually, but
Okay.
definitely I get the Babok guide. I think that was enough for me. It's more of around 400 more pages. So I read that. I think that covers for me the BCBA CCM, but I would definitely love to read this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear a lot of folks that use this as a regular part of their business analysis work. So again, if you're joining us today, if that is something you haven't heard of, check out
Mhm.
that business analysis standard and learn more about that tool because it gets a lot of props within the community.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Now this does not have a person's name, so it's just LinkedIn user. For applying for jobs, do you need the job title business analyst? I have some business analysis experience, I just don't have that job title. This is a great question because I hear this question frequently. Yep. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I know, Susan, you've talked to some recruiters in terms of recruiting in the industry and that type of thing. And we did field a question last year about someone saying, should I use my job title or description of what I do? So you don't necessarily have to be tied to this is the formal job title. You could say this is the type of work that I do rather than listing it out that way. So you could say business analysis experience, and you could list the activities. So I don't think the job title should hold you back, because we've talked a number of times about job titles. Organizations have different titles for the same role.
Hmm.
There really is no standard across the industry, and some businesses are very creative with their titles. HR titles, chief make people happy officer, type of thing. Yeah, that job title I think shouldn't hold you back. Just look at your resume and state it more of these are the skills that I have instead of focusing on this is the job title and the position I worked in.
Uh,
That's yeah.
I'll add just a couple of quick points to that. The recruiters that we talked with, I asked them to take a look in their database of business analysis job titles. They came back with over 700 that were hiring for business analysis skills. So that should tell you that it's just all over the board.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do if you've not had that job title is focus on your achievements that relate to business analysis. And again, that business analysis standard can help you because it talks about the knowledge areas and the task. So if you are struggling to find a job because you feel like you have not had that title, use that to help you look through your history and find achievements that you've had in those areas. So, Sachin, were you going
Yeah.
to add something?
Yes. So I would like to add one more thing in here. So having the BA title is not a much need. Even the BABOK, the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, states that. So having a BA title is not much needed, but what matters is you are doing the job that BA does, gathering requirements, working on projects. So this is what makes difference. So if you are highlighting that as in your resume that you don't have any experience in BA, but you do have worked with the similarity things that a BA does, so it does make difference, and I think it will help you definitely boost your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah,
said.
that's a good reminder. Achievements over just putting responsibilities of that current job
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
Let's
Susan, I'm seeing the questions pile up here. Maybe we should go through rapid questions.
All right, rapid questions. Here we go. In just a couple of minutes we have left. Vivian asked, how can I volunteer with IIBA? When you become a member of IIBA, you can express interest, and that's one way. And then you can be notified of volunteer opportunities that we have. Also, if you're a member, you can be part of chapter leadership. You can reach out to your local chapter and see if they've got whether it's spots on the board, or maybe there's other opportunities. So head on over to iiba.org, check out our Get Involved volunteering section, and you can express interest there. Then we also have another one kind of along the same lines. This is from Jimmy. Recently joined the Ireland chapter. Want to be an active member? Does that give me an affiliation with the global IIBA chapter by default? Yes, actually, when you become an IIBA member in general, you also are a member of a local chapter, so Ireland in this example, but you aren't limited to just that particular chapter. In fact, really, when you become an IIBA member, you can participate in any chapter's events anywhere in the world, which is pretty cool because you get to meet business analysis professionals from all over the world. I mean, talk about a networking opportunity. That's a pretty cool way. So thank you, Jimmy. Um, Mahmoud asked, can we get a recording of this session later? The answer is yes. You can find a recording on LinkedIn. It's a little hard to find us there, but we take this and it becomes a YouTube podcast. It also becomes a Spotify podcast. Maybe we'll remember to put that up at the end, that banner, so we can let people know where they can find us.
Sure.
Okay, hopefully I'm going fast enough. Um, Harshing asked, how, according to you, will the market be in the next 2 to 3 years um, for this? Well, do you do you know, Sachin? Do you know, Scott? Where's
Yeah,
this profession going?
I can definitely answer this one. So
Okay.
I think it's gonna boost for sure. So currently I am in the real estate market, and every market needs a business analyst. So we are nothing, we are just communicators. So whatever their requirements are, we have to make sure the projects run nicely. If there is any hiccups or something issues with the coming with the project, we should be able to answer those, and we have to make sure the project is running nicely. So every market needs a business analyst, and within the 2 to 3 careers, I can definitely say it's gonna boost nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
And I
I'll
would say
add.
some people ask the question, will AI replace business analysis professionals? We're in a relationship business. Susan, you say that a lot. We're in a relationship business. So we're human communicators. We're bringing people together. We're bringing people together for common understanding and solutions. So that's never going to go away. AI might be a tool that helps us. It won't replace us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do think AI will be a tool that augments the work that we're doing. If you are purely doing analytical mapping kinds of tasks, AI can do a lot of that. So really, I think in the next couple of years, what becomes really critical for business analysis professionals are communication skills, big time. Like we that's been something that we've needed to do, but we really just need to double down on those skill sets because it will become increasingly important to have human interactions both with our stakeholders, but also to be able to communicate with customers and create experiences, AI experiences, if that's where you're working, that are good for humans. So, yeah, so there you go. That was a great question. Um, I think I think that may be it for today. That was a pretty good session. It's nice to talk with someone that has some fresh perspectives on getting into the profession. So thank you, Sachin, for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining actually, and thank you Susan and Scott for giving me this opportunity. It's nice to share my experience with anyone who is gonna be just like I was in the past. So it's amazing. It feels like I'm helping people who want to be like me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Well,
giving
thank you,
back.
Sachin, for giving back. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
And while we're talking about being thankful and showing gratitude, here in the United States, It is just about time for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is actually tomorrow, and that's a time when we get together with our families, and we're just thankful. So, how are you showing gratitude today? Think about that. And we will see you next time on the next Business Analysis Live.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll leave another one right here for you to help you in your business analysis career. If you haven't subscribed to the IIBA YouTube channel yet, you can click over here and click on the bell icon to get notified every time we publish a brand new video.